Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another in-depth review here on NT Auto Reviews. My name is Tyler, behind the camera, giving you guys all of these awesome in-depth walk-around videos. Today we are taking a look at the newly updated 2019 Audi A4 and the more basic premium trim level. So we'll see what one of Audi's most popular models look like in a more basic trim level. Now, being that it is in the premium trim level, we don't have a whole lot of options, which we'll get into. There are a few of them. However, the way Audi sets up their window sticker is right over here. We're going to have all of our standard features, so you can kind of pause the video if you want to get more information. Over here we have all of our optional extras. So we're going to start up top with the optional paint color. The metallic paint costs an extra $5.95. When we also have the convenience package, which adds a bunch of features to an otherwise more basic car. So we have memory for the driver's seat, Sirius XM audio, side assist, all kinds of different sensors for safety systems. Moving down, we also have the 18-inch wheel package, which obviously comes with a nicer set of wheels as well as all-season tires. We also have the Audi beam rings, which is the projection light that goes on the bottom, and you will see that in just a few minutes. We also have the all-weather floor mats, a destination charge of $9.95, and a total sticker price, as seen, of $46,330. We have some shipping information as well as crash test ratings right over here. We also have our fuel economy information, and then our parts content, which I know a lot of you like to see. Alright, so if we walk around to the side, we have 9 available colors for 2019. This one being the Manhattan Gray Metallic, and our wheelbase stands at exactly 111 inches. And walking around so that you could see the rear of the car, you can see subtle updates to the rear bumper, as well as a few different things. We can also talk about the drivetrain configurations. So up here in the Northeast, we're mainly going to see the Quattro all-wheel drive. However, front-wheel drive is available. Alright, so now let's check out what's different with the 2019 A4. And we can start out front with a pretty mean head-on view. You do have a little bit of a different grille, as well as a smaller lip down front, and the side grills are a little bit different as well. But as far as the headlights go, they remain pretty much the same. You have a single projector bulb that has a high intensity discharge powered, and it is used for both your high and low beams. You also have your LED daytime running lights and turn signals up here. And if we make our way down below, we have what appears to be fog lights, but they aren't. They're actually sensors for the pre-collision warning and all of those good safety features that this car comes standard with. You also have some nice silver accenting. Again, the new lip down below in the grille. We of course have our Quattro emblem up front. And that pretty much does it. Again, the more basic model doesn't have parking sensors up front. If we take a look at the hood, it's a pretty large hood. It includes all the way over here down to the fenders. Have some pretty prominent creases in it, as you can see the shadow lines. Now down here we do have the 18-inch wheel package, which of course gives us 18-inch silver painted wheels. The tires are quite icy, and you can barely make out the size. It's 245/40 for the tires up front. We have ventilated disc brakes, and it looks like some pretty large calipers. We have the S-line badging, and we can see this pretty neat shadow line continues all the way down the vehicle. We also have our body colored mirrors, and if we turn around, we could see the turn signals on the mirrors, which are powered by LEDs. We have the smart key entry on all 4 of the door handles. Making our way back, we can see that the windows are surrounded in chrome. We have the antenna up top as well as the sunroof. And back here we also have the 18-inch wheels with, again, ventilated rotors. Taking a walk around back, we have everything LED back here for the tail lamps. We have the sequential turn signals that Audi have started to use a few years ago, which still look really awesome. As far as badging back here, we have the A4 badging, the Audi rings, as well as our Quattro badging. And the rear bumper on the new A4 is new. We have the rectangular exhaust outlets instead of the circular ones on the older model. We have some bright trim along the side, and we also have a trunk release and backup camera right underneath the lip. Alright, so for this portion of the video we could take a look under the hood and see what powers the new A4. So underneath the hood of the updated A4 is a familiar powertrain. It is a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4. It produces 248 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 273 pound-feet of torque at only 1,600 RPM. And again, that is one of 2 different 2-liter turbocharged engines, this one being the more powerful one. Then of course you also have the S4, which is a completely different car. You can see that your engine oil filter is right up top. We have our alternator, all of our belts are right up front. Since this car is all-wheel drive, the engine's going to be mounted this way. We also have our air box over here, some battery connections, some braces to increase your rigidity. You have a coolant overflow, and up top you have 2 latches for the hood. And down below, once you pop the hood, you just move the lever over like this and the hood will fully release so that you could open it. And you see the engine oil is rated at 0W30. So before we take a look at the inside, of course this car does have the smart key entry system like I mentioned earlier. It's pretty much a pretty simple system to get used to. You just keep the key fob in your pocket. See this little indent on the door right here, you press that to lock, put your hand behind the handle to unlock. Now there are 4 different color options available for the A4. This one being the rock gray, so it's a little bit different than the typical black or tan interiors, which is nice. Starting up here, we have nice soft touch materials with some stainless steel accents on your door handle. And up here, we have our memory seat controls for 2 different settings. Our lock-on-lock real wood trim, so this is real wood, also real leather. Very nice and soft leather on the armrest over here and down here. We have our window lockout. We also have all 4 of our window controls, 1 touch up and down. We have our mirror controls with our heated mirror settings. We also have our trunk release right over there. Now, coming standard is a 10-speaker audio system, which is plenty for me. Gives off just the right amount of sound. And you could also opt for the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is just on a whole nother level. You also have a nice pocket in here, which you can keep your garbage or whatever. And we could also, here's a picture at night. I came out here last night before I left work. Took a picture so you could see the Audi beam rings as well as the illuminated door sills. Our stainless steel, of course, with the little S-line badging. Taking a look at the left of the dash, we have an air outlet here. Our all-weather lighting, our fog lights are over here. Lighting controls, and then our gauge dimmer. We also have this little pocket right here, which you can keep your owner's manual. That way it frees up more space in the glove box. We have a hood release, pedals down below. And also over here you can see the release for the tilt telescoping steering wheel. We have our full powered seats with the 4-way lumbar. Also, pretty nice attention to detail on the seats too. So you can see there's a ton of stitching pretty much found throughout the seat. And you could also opt for sport seats as well. So let's hop in, we'll get out of the cold, start the car up, and we'll check out the rest of the interior. Now here's the key for the A4. It's a pretty traditional Audi key. However, this is the spare key for the vehicle. The main key actually looks a bit more fancier with a little bit more stainless steel, some gloss black on the back. But this is the spare key for the vehicle. There's a physical key on the inside, and you have the Audi emblem back here. The panic alarm, trunk release, unlock, and lock are on here too. So all you need to do to start the car is make sure the key's on the inside, your foot's on the brake, and you press the engine start stop logo. Alrighty, so we could start the driver's cockpit portion of the interior with the steering wheel. Now it is, of course, a pretty nice steering wheel considering that it's an Audi. Audis have really just had the best looking steering wheels in the industry, I think, for the last couple of years. Nice small airbag cover with some bright accents going around the buttons and the cover itself. Some gloss black, very nice leather with a little bit of texturing, some stitching on the inside as well. You could of course get the sport steering wheel with the flat bottom, which looks even nicer than this, believe it or not. But we do have a couple of buttons to either side of the steering wheel. Right over here is going to control our center screen, and then over here is going to control most of our audio settings. For example, over here, your volume, you can skip between different tracks. Put your navigation up right over there, and then we have a different configurable button. So say if this car had a heated steering wheel, we could press that button, the heated steering wheel will go on, and you could really configure what you want that button to do. We have our Bluetooth controls and voice commands. Also behind the steering wheel and mounted to it are paddle shifters. Sound pretty good when you click them into gear. Behind the steering wheel we have our turn signal and high beam stalk. We also have our adaptive cruise control stalk right over here on the bottom. Then over here are our wipers. So now that we made our way up to the gauges, we have our temperature over here, tachometer, our obviously LCD screen, the speedometer, and fuel gauge. Now, of course, a lot of you know about Audi's virtual cockpit. This one does not have it because it is the basic model. However, you could kind of think of this smaller screen as just a scaled down version of the virtual cockpit, because it offers quite a few features in it that I wasn't really expecting. So again, we're going to use all of these buttons over here to control the screen. Now here's our first sort of informational screen. If you use a scroll wheel, you'll get more information. And if you go over using this button here, we will go to our media screen, which we can change between AM, FM, and if there's something playing, it'll read the title of the song. Then you also have your phone screen over here. Also, just to be noted, there is no phone connected. And this car also doesn't have built-in navigation. If it did, you would be able to see it up there. So if we go back and click the view button, we have the minimum display on. So we can kind of just leave that blank and pay attention to the vitals on either side. We also have our back button over here. We have a bunch of resets that we can use with this OK button over here, and a back. So that's pretty much it. It's basically a simplified version of the virtual cockpit. If we take a look up here, we have a nice soft touch dash. We have a couple of speakers up top too, so 2 on either side, and then a center channel speaker. We also have this nice small screen. Again, it is a little bit smaller because we don't have navigation, and if you do add the navigation package, you will get a little bit of a bigger screen. So here's pretty much the main menu over here. And we're just going to display a few different menus. We could use this scroll knob to control everything. So we can twist, press down to select, and then also go back and forth. We have a couple of extra menu buttons over here, the main menu back. We bump this up for quickly getting to the radio. Then we bump this down to quickly get to the media, and the same for this side for the navigation and telephone. We also have our presets over here. Going back to the main screen, we can click on some of the functions. We have 4 different modes: comfort, automatic, and dynamic mode. And we also have our individual mode. Now if we click this button over here, it'll let us configure the mode the way we want it. So we can choose which mode we want our engine transmission to be in. And we could also choose how heavy our steering is going to be. Pretty neat. We can move over to sound, where we can adjust our sound settings, obviously. We have our radio screen over here, which we have the Sirius XM hooked up. You can also go like that to change our different sources. We have our media and phone player, which we have no phone connected, so it's not going to show a whole bunch. We have our Audi Connect over here. We also have our smartphone interface, so it does have the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And we also have some of our basic settings. That's pretty much it for the screen. You can get more in depth with things once you connect your phone and whatnot, start making calls with the Bluetooth. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the little screen we have up there. We have a couple of air vents with a design cue. The slats kind of go all the way across to make it look like one continuous air vent. Pretty cool looking. We also have our hazards right over here. We have all of our climate control in this one little section here. We have our 3-stage heated seats. Our different temperatures are controlled over here. If we unsync it, we can go like that, and obviously it is a 3-zone climate control. The front passengers each get their own zone, and then the rear passengers get a single zone. So everybody can have a different temperature. We have our different places where you want the air to blow. You can go up or down. We also have our AC controls right over here, our fan speed, our different zones. We can control the rear from up here. And we also have just our passenger zone. We have our defrosters over here, recycling, turning it off, and then their passenger seat. Now, one thing I'd like to point out is these are both buttons and touch sensors. So if you just rest your hand on it, you'll see all the menus. Then when you actually go up with the button, it will change the setting. Pretty neat. We have a couple of toggle switches down here for our drive mode select, right over there. So again, we have those 4 modes. We can turn our auto start stop off, we can turn our traction control off, then we can just turn our screen right off if we don't want it on. Down here we have our start push button start right over here, USB connection, as well as a 12-volt power outlet. We also have a couple of cup holders there, all of our controls over here too. And then we also have the electronic gear selector for the 7-speed automatic. It is nicely have nice leather on top and then some stainless steel accents. If you want to put it down into drive, just press the unlock at the side where my thumb is and bring it right on down. We also have a sport mode if you tip the shifter over. That way you can shift manually going up and down, or you can also use the paddle shifters. If you want to put it into neutral, you can bump it up once. If you want to put it into reverse from drive, you can put it up 2 selections like that. Then if you want to put it into park, just press the P. And one pretty cool thing about this car is if you had it in drive, and you also had it in sport mode, you press the park, it'll automatically go back over. We also have the parking brake. Again, it is electronic. Put your foot on the brake. Red means it's activated. Press down to deactivate. Pick up to activate. We have our volume knob over here, and then skipping between our different tracks. We have a nice little storage pocket right over here, which is a good place to keep your key. We also have a storage pocket over here, which also you have your armrest up top, which is nice and soft, and you lift that up. The storage compartment expands where you can put your phone. Wireless charging is also available. This car does not have it. We have the aux cord and another USB, which is nice. We could also lift the armrest so that you have a comfortable position to rest your arm. We have our auto-dimming frameless rear view mirror up here. We have some touch lights, so they are touch sensitive, pretty neat. We have our all on for the lighting, different service reminders, SOS control over here, and we also have our garage door openers right there, as well as our sunroof controls. So to vent the sunroof up, all you need to do is just press it up like so. The sunroof will then vent up. Press it down to close it, and then you can also push the button backwards like that to open the sunroof fully. And it is a pretty large sunroof. You also have the shade that covers 100% of the light. So that pretty much does it for the interior here, at least the front portion. Let me adjust the seat to a more normal driving position for my 5'10" self. And we'll hop out and we'll see how much room and see what kind of amenities the rear offers. So same nice materials back here, soft touch. We also have leather down here and also soft touch down here. A speaker on the door, the window switch, and the lock button, as well as the door handle and the real wood. Take a look at our seats back here, the headrests. And so it appears we have a pretty good amount of space back here thanks to these little cutouts in the back of the seat. We have a nice mat pocket, and I'd say, you know, a couple inches of legroom for someone that's similar to my height, which is 5'10". We also have a nice view of the dashboard here. We have a couple of air vents with controls for the third zone back here for the climate control. We have a 12-volt power outlet and a pretty large hump if you ever have center passengers. We have our armrest, which folds down like so, and we have a little bit of storage in there. And we also have a couple of cup holders, one on either side. We also have some LED lights up above too. Headroom isn't half bad either. It is a little bit on the shorter side just because we have the sunroof, but there are cutouts right where your head's going to be, so it's not touching the ceiling or anything. So now let's check out what the glove box has to offer. So the front passenger door pretty much mimics the driver's as far as design, just a few less controls, which I'm sure you can make out. The passenger seat is powered. The only thing it loses is the lumbar. Still very nice to have a powered passenger seat. So nice wood grain over here with the Quattro emblem. We could also open up the lockable glove box to see we have a pretty decent amount of space with our CD player and SD card inlets, as well as a valet mode, and you can also filter in the air conditioning into the glove box, so if you want something chilled in there, then you could definitely do that. So, opening the trunk is as easy as locating one of 3 buttons, either on the key fob, underneath the hatch over here, or on the inside. Once you pop it opens all the way for you. Must be some kind of springs in the struts of the trunk there. We have nice carpeting in the back, a little bit of extra storage, some nice hefty metal tie downs. We also have both our carpeted floor mats and all weather floor mats back here. If we lift this up, we have a spare tire. We also have grocery bag hangers that pop out from the top of the trunk, and you can also see our rear seats fold down to greater expand the cargo area. Alright, so opening the lid to the 15.3 gallon fuel tank, you should be seeing right around 23 miles to the gallon in the city and 34 on the highway according to the window sticker, and you should use premium fuel. You also have a nice little place to put your cap right there. And so to wrap up this video, I hope you have enjoyed. I also hope you stay with us for future in-depth reviews.